All right, welcome. Um, Today we are here making a protection either jar or little sachet. It's up to you, whichever one you prefer. This is a nice alternative if you're not totally comfortable doing the candle spell that I posted last week, maybe the week before. um, but it's important to start with protection magic before you start doing a bunch of other stuff. Because magic can be unpredictable and spells can be unpredictable. Um, and you never know when you need a little extra protection, especially if you are calling on and working with the spirits. Um, so I have actually already cleansed these. Now, I'm actually only going to be making the jar today because honestly, that's all I'll need. But you can apply the same principles to the sachet, right? And I'll tell you exactly what to do for that as well. So I've already cleansed these with incense. You might still see smoke coming out of it. If you don't have incense, or if you don't want to use incense, if you're allergic or someone in your house is allergic, or you just don't have the time to go out and get some, you can also do a cleanse where you put it in between your hands and you picture your energy, your light going into the jar and surrounding the jar, and just setting the intention, like, with my energy, this jar is cleansed of any previously lingering energies. So for this, what you will need, we're actually going to be using the same exact ingredients for the jars and the sachet that we did for the actual protection spell, just because I feel like those are ingredients that people can find pretty much anywhere. The spell jars that I have on my website, you'll see they contain a couple more extra things. I have some garlic in there as well, as some sage. I have a couple different crystals in there as well. You can always look up protection ingredients, protection crystals, herbs, things like that. All right, let me get my stuff open here. So what you're going to need is rosemary, clove. Now, in the spell, we used ground, the candle spell. This time we're going to use whole cloves, because, especially if you're using a sachet, you don't want clove getting out all over the place. And then you're also going to need black pepper. Again, if you're going to be doing the sachet, I recommend whole peppercorns and not the ground that we'll be using for the jar. If you are doing the jar and you only have whole peppercorns, totally fine. I will also be putting salt in mine, just regular sea salt, because it's great at protection and cleansing. So for crystals, in mine, I will be doing smoky quartz. I have a little jar right here. So smoky quartz, some obsidian, and amethyst. I have the little chips over here too to put in the jar. You can also use clear quartz, would be great as well as carnelian. All right. I like to do crystals first. Typically, I like to do the biggest thing first. So again, if you're just doing the sachet, just put those crystals right on in there. All right, but for the jar, this takes a little finessing and finagling. So let's see, we'll start with the smoky quartz, just because for me, those are the biggest crystal pieces that I have. Scoop some out. There you go. You don't need a ton. I really like spell jars because you don't need a ton and it goes a really long way, especially because I sell a bunch of jars on my website, so I can make a bunch at a time and have the ingredients that I'm using go really far. So again, these are all for protection. So we want to make that intention as we put them in. So protection. All right, next we have obsidian. That's again protection, keep away any negativity. And that's about how far my jar is filled right now. It's a little hard to tell with the ring light. And the last crystal I'll be putting in there is amethyst. Amethyst is great for psychic protection, spiritual protection. Again, there you go. And you can put more or less in there, whatever you want. Again, if you're just making the sachet, you can just put them all in the sachet. All right. Next, I like to put in salt. Take that off. Again, if you're doing the sachet, you still want to add salt. You can add like the bigger chunks of salt. This is the finely ground stuff. I just do a little spoonful. Shake it down in there. And again, salt is for cleansing and protecting. Next, I'm going to do pepper because that's, again, we're layering as our like finest thing for the herbs. So black pepper would be our next finest thing. Grab a little spoonful of that. And this is going to be for protection as well. So we're going to pour that in there. There we go. And try not to make a mess. Spell jars can be messy. That's part of the fun, I guess. Yeah, go ahead and shake that down. All right, next two are going to be rosemary and clove. Now, the nice thing about the sachet is if you are, doing that, if you have rosemary growing outside your home, or if you get fresh rosemary from the store, you can just put a sprig of rosemary in there. All right, so we're going to put rosemary in again for protection. I'm going to actually put a little bit more. You put as much or as little as you want. And you'll see my crystals are starting to get covered there as well. And last but not least is clove again for protection. If you only have ground clove, go ahead and use ground clove. We're going to try to get as many in there as we can. All right. So next, we're just going to top it up. Now, if you're doing the sachet, you just cinch it up and you're pretty much done. You will want to just set your intentions. So if you're doing this, it's done, hold it in your hand. For jars, they do have to be sealed with wax. So I have my black candle here. It's not a fresh one. I've made spell jars in the past, and honestly, this is just left over from that. Some people like to put little charms. It's up to you. I think the charms are fun, but for the sake, I'm not going to go ahead and do one. And if you're just making the sachet, you're going to go ahead and, if I can get my candle lit, and state these intentions, the same ones that we're going to do for the jar, just as you're holding your sachet. All right. Now, again, please be careful not to burn yourself. All right, now this jar that I'm making is not for me, it's for someone else. So I'm going to set the intention for someone else. You, in this instance, if this is for you, just as you're sealing it, protect it for yourself. Okay. So we're going to pour some wax on there. Okay. May the holder of this jar be protected at all times from anything or anyone that may wish them harm in any way. And we're just going to repeat that until our jar is covered. May the holder of this jar be protected from anything or anyone that may mean them harm in any way. May the holder of this jar be protected from anything or anyone that may mean them harm in any way. I'm going to do a little bit more just to be sure. May the holder of this jar be protected from anything or anyone that may mean them harm in any way. I'll just say it one more time. May the holder of this jar be protected from anything or anyone that would mean them harm in any way. Last try. Then blow out your candle when you're done. While this is still cooling off, please make sure to put it in a safe spot. All right, so obviously your wax still has to dry if you are making the jar, but if you're making the sachet, that's it. And now you have a little protection jar. So you can carry this with you. You can put it on your bedside table. If you have an altar, you can place it on an altar. If you feel intuitively called to do something specific with it, by all means, go ahead and do that thing. Obviously, please be safe with it. Not all ingredients in all jars are safe for consumption. So just be aware of that. And reminder, once the wax is broken and the seal is broken on the bottle, that means that the spell is broken. Okay. If you feel like you don't need the jar anymore, or if you, I don't know, want to make a new one or feel like it needs refreshing, because oftentimes spells do need refreshing every once in a while. You can either, some people just straight up bury their whole jar in the dirt. You can certainly do that. Or empty it out, discard of the ingredients, and make sure you clean it very, very well, and then do a nice cleansing on it before you make another spell in it. But yeah, that's it. So if you've been following along with me, thank you. It took less than 15 minutes, and now you have an awesome protection spell. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. I will be posting more videos on here. I have a lot of content planned for this. So thank you for coming along with me for this journey, and I will see you next time. Bye.